Podcast here. We're going to talk about what's motivating people to work out in 2023, or at least what I think people will be doing in 2023. This might surprise you. This was again from the Mintel report. It said that at the time of this report, statistics say that 78% of exercisers are actually working out for their well-being, while 76% of exercisers report working out for their physical well-being. So this is kind of a surprising thing because normally people will think of, oh, I'm going to go work out to look better. A lot of people want to feel better too and get better self-confidence, but most people are in it to lose some weight, improve their body composition, build some muscle, all these different things. But at least from the statistic, it says that a lot more people, specifically 2% of more people are going to start getting into physical activity and exercising because it can improve your mental health. Quick recount there from that first little bit. What is motivating people to work out in 2023? 78% of exercisers were working out for their emotional well-being, while 76% of exercisers report working out for their physical well-being. So a little more people are focused on the mental aspect of this, which is a huge part. And this could be kind of one of the positives from the pandemic, at least from my eyes. So there was a huge lack of physical activity during the pandemic itself. And even like light physical activity was completely gone. For a lot of people who may have been going out to the grocery store, that could have been their only source of physical activity. Maybe going to the mailbox every day and getting stuff from there. That might have even dwindled down because they weren't ordering as much stuff. Just going out and browsing at a local bookstore. All these little things that might even be a very small source of physical activity for people, that could be a huge amount of physical activity lost in their life. So taking out even these small things of physical activity, people realize that, man, I don't feel as good. The mental burden of physical activity was realized. And for kind of a perspective on this, I want to ask, how do you feel after sitting on the couch, sitting and really just doing anything? You could be scrolling on the phone. You could just be staring at the wall. How do you feel? Likely not full of that much energy. Likely like you just want to completely sit there and be a couch potato, right? Now, how do you feel after a light walk? How do you feel after getting up and going up and down the stairs? Maybe a little tired, maybe a little, build up in some of that tiredness. But for the most part, a lot of people feel better, specifically with their mood and their mental health. So, again, with those light sources of activity completely gone, this can create a huge overall issue. So there was a huge change in focus, as we can see. People are realizing the mental health benefits of exercise. In this Mintel report, 50% of people on the Mintel's COVID-19 tracker, which again is another running statistic poll through the pandemic from Mintel, it said 50% of people changed their outlook on exercising and mental health. And specifically, it actually just made them think a little differently about mental health, which, again, we go back to why this might be a positive of the pandemic and exercising and public health. If people are thinking about their mental health more and they're thinking of how important it is, whether or not this was internally, something where I want to make a change to improve my life, or externally, as in they see how badly the world can get if you don't take care of your mental health, I think it really doesn't matter sometimes. Sometimes when people are just getting into health and fitness, you need some type of big push. You need some big type of driving factor to get them first start going. And this pandemic can change a lot of people in regards to that. So what can we learn from the pandemic and mental health? Obviously, the severity of mental health. There was so many people, specifically older adults and people who were isolated, who honestly just died because of the isolation. I can't put an exact pin on this, but I've worked with a lot of older adults who they lose hope very quickly when they're on their own and not just around people. And this happened to a lot of people. So there's a huge severity of mental health. And I think the kind of stigma behind mental health is going down a lot, especially since the pandemic. What else can we learn from the pandemic and the mental health crisis? Potential benefits of physical activity. We notice how not as much physical activity can make quite a big detriment on your physical health. And at the same time, we also can notice what actually being physically active can do for you too. So two kind of big things there. And then also the long-term benefits of not being physically active, specifically on your mental and physical health. There's also some internal reasons to exercise. So, and we're actually going to address those later in the video. But yeah, so these are a few things we can learn that can hopefully move us forward in our mental health discussion.